All right, welcome to the People's Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Doug Bai here with Mike Rossi, Andrew Garganese, and Joey G Money Ginolfi. This is our Waiver Wire Monday show. We're going to be talking our champs and chumps of the week. We're going to be discussing who we thought did really well and who we thought did not do so well. But we want to start this out today with just doing an open discussion, talking about the games of the week, kind of what we took away from everything. And Mike, I want to get this started with you. What do you think?
So my takeaway from week 2 is fantasy is hard. It's really fucking hard. Like, we do a lot of research and we think we know a lot about fantasy. And then you go into the week 2, right? And look at the top 5 for fantasy points per position. At quarterbacks, you got Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts. Everyone saw that. And then Josh Dobbs. I don't think anybody ever even thought about having Josh Dobbs on your fantasy team. Running backs, Brian Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, Kyron Williams, and the only one that people saw coming was Saquon. Wide receivers, this one's actually not that bad. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Nico Collins, and Puka Nacua, which obviously he's a household name now, but 2 weeks ago, he was not a household name. And then tight ends is actually the one consistency. It's TJ Hawkinson and then Hunter Henry, but Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller. So the people you thought, but the names that are on this list for best of the week are people that we didn't have starting or not even on our fantasy teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's such an unpredictable thing to do. And I think it takes a few weeks for us to kind of readjust and be like, okay, these are the guys that are going to be good this year. You know?
Yeah.
Andy, did you have any takeaways or anything you wanted to discuss about the games this week?
Bills are back, baby. Bills are back. But besides that, Josh Kelly stinks. And that was pretty much I had a little too much waiver money invested. That was pretty much it though. Just Bills and Josh Kelly.
How much did you put in for Kelly?
The ups and the downs.
Highs and the lows. I think I got him around like 15 or 20 in one league. I don't think I got him in more than one league, but still more money than he's worth.
Yeah. Do you have Eckler in that league or you just went for Kelly? You just wanted
I just went for him. Yeah. I thought I saw something week 1. I was wrong.
Yeah.
No, I think you were right. But for him to be the lead dog there, they just prepared for it, and it just he ended up being a bust for sure.
Sure did.
Jahmyr Gibbs still can't get the ball.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little more Gibbs. Demont went down. What was it? Knee bruise or something though. So I don't think he's going to be out for long, if at all.
No,
right?
Demont was quad.
He was quad.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
Nothing serious.
They're saying a couple of weeks.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought that was like a week-to-week thing. Joe, what'd you see this weekend?
I was just happy to see some bounce backs, man. Josh Allen had a big week. T. Higgins had a big week. Just good to see those guys coming back to life a little bit.
Yeah. Some of the stars that people probably gave up on after week 1, like T. Higgins.
How do you give Breece Hall 4 carries after his week 1 performance?
Did you see his tweet that he had to delete?
Stupid.
Yeah. What's the thought process there? Oh, we got Zach Wilson now. Fuck the running game.
Yeah, we can just pass now. We're good.
I don't know.
That was rough.
Did you guys?
Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, Doug.
No,
did you see the thing that the interwebs are talking that Dable took over play calling in New York, like the second half of the game?
I did not see that.
It would make a lot of sense and very believable after that.
A reporter asked him about it post game, and he was like, "No, like didn't happen." But there's like people like breaking down film and stuff. Like, oh, he's got the sheet. I mean, it would make sense, right? They did like 6 scoreless quarters, and then they jumped off. But that's something to keep our eye on.
He just had enough of it. He's like, all right, fuck it. We're just
Man,
they were down 60-0 on the year before they started scoring points. 60-0 on the year.
I was just gonna say my stack with Danny Dimes and Waller was not looking good for 6 quarters.
It's all right. It's early.
Doug, what's yours?
It's early. That's why I keep on telling myself. Because I was a little depressed yesterday. I didn't have a good football Sunday. Patriots, they don't look too hot. They're not too fantasy relevant, so I'm not gonna talk about them too much. But my fantasy teams, they're awful right now, and a lot of the guys that I was looking forward to being good this year, they haven't really stepped it up too much. So, yeah, it's been tough, man. I didn't even actually get to watch too much football yesterday, unfortunately. Usually I can kind of sit down on a Sunday and enjoy myself, but I had some work I had to do. But anyways, yeah, like there's a lot of guys that I suggested this year that we're gonna get big workloads that they haven't gotten it done yet, and kind of that list that you just said, Mike, kind of shows it all. It's just the kind of year it's been so far.
Yeah, Doug, the good thing is that we're only 2 weeks in, and you have 3 guys right here that can help you get out of that 2-0-2 start.
I'm gonna need it
and build it back to a playoffs.
I'm gonna need it, man, because my confidence, it's lacking right now. All right, let's jump into the show. Let's what do you want to start with, Mike? You want to start with some panic meter? You want to do a little panic meter?
Oh, you want to start there? Let's go.
I like that. Let's go with panic meter first.
Let's do some panic meter. So I'm gonna name off 10 names. I want you guys to throw up a number on how panicked you are with them. 0 being none at all, 10 being very, very panicked about what's going on there. All right. So we'll start off with Joe Burrow. Where you guys at with Joe Burrow?
Got it.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh,
Andy, you're not panicked at all, huh?
My numbers are all going to be backwards, I guess.
Doug, I think for the people listening and not watching, you gotta
we need the Leonardo da Vinci mirror right in here. Get this.
Yeah. So I went with a 5.
I got it,
there
Joe.
we go.
I went with a 5. Andy, you're 2.
Or a Z. That could be a Z.
Or could be a Z. Mike, you're at an 8. So you're pretty panicked.
Shit, I'm holding upside down.
Still an 8. Still an 8. You're a little panicked. Joey G, I figured this was going to be your segment, man. You like to panic a little bit. You're at a 9.
So, I mean, Joe Burrow, man, when we saw the injury in the preseason, my panic was at a 9 for him. I hate non-contact injuries. I feel like it's worse than they let us on to believe. I think they brought him back too early. I'm at a huge panic with Joe Burrow because I don't know how many weeks he's going to miss now, because now they have to take his time, seeing how valuable he is at 100%.
It's scary. It's scary for that whole offense. Andy, though, you don't seem scared at all. So I want to talk about why you aren't scared as well.
I just feel like he's going to have these bad weeks, and then by week 8, it'll be forgotten. He'll throw for 4,500 yards and 30, 32 touchdowns, whatever it's going to be, and it's just not going to matter. So, yeah, I mean, I think the bad days are behind him. I don't think he's at 100% yet either, but I'm not. I mean, 85, 90% of a top 3 quarterback in the league is still just fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in the middle of it. But I tend to lean more your way, Andy. All right, let's go to the next guy. This kind of goes hand in hand together. Jamar Chase, where you at with him?
I'll just leave my Z.
Yeah, leave your Z.
Wow. What the hell? Is mine backwards?
Mine's
That's
backwards.
No.
Yours is not. No. Mine's backwards. So I went with a 3. Andy, you went Z again. Mike, 2. And Joe, 2. Joe, 2. I'm a little bit surprised about that too, Joe. You just went 9.
Jamar Chase is too good, man. I know it's crazy that he's had these 2 weeks, but there's no way he's going to stay bottled up all season. It's not possible.
Okay, so none of us are really panicking much, but you think he's quarterback proof is what you're saying? You think even if Burrow is missing some time? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think if Burrow misses time, people are going to throw it up more to Chase out of the 2 of them and try to lean his way more and have that tunnel vision on him more.
All right, let's go with a second-year receiver here. Jahan Dotson, where you guys at on him?
Six.
All right, so I'm at a 4. Andy, you're at a 6. Mike, you're at a 6. Joey, you're at a 3. So Mike and Andy, why you guys at a 6?
Andy, go ahead. You want it?
I'll take it, sure. I like Jahan Dotson, but I thought he was kind of unproven coming into the year. I know a lot of people were like, his year is coming. I didn't watch too much of that game. I got to see the ending, which was awesome. But I feel like they still kind of force Curtis Samuel the ball, end arounds, little gadget plays like that. And Scary Terry is a legitimate wide receiver, one in the NFL. His role's not going anywhere. I just don't think Dotson's living up to the hype. I mean, he got drafted like 16th overall, I think, in the NFL. And I haven't seen anything that makes me think he's worth any of the hype around him.
Mike, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he out of the Commanders receivers, he was on the field the most. Actually, he's on the field 85% of the time, and Terry was on the field 74% of the time. So, if you're going to be on the field that much and you're not doing anything with it, people like De'Ami Brown and Curtis Samuel, they're going to start sneaking their way up. So, I'm nervous because I still think he has that role right now. But if he has another week like he has the first 2 weeks, these guys are going to start getting the targets and getting the playing time over him.
Yeah, but I think you got to stay low on him because he's on the field for so much. Eric Bieniemy type offense like the Chiefs have had with wide receivers. Anybody can have a week. It's gonna rotate. It's not just gonna be the same guys every in and out.
And like Andy said, there's a lot of draft capital in this guy, so they're going to give him every opportunity they can right now. All right, next guy. Let's go Tyler Higbee. We guys out with him. This is the only number that's going to work for me. So I went with 8.
Jesus,
Andy,
my handwriting's
Andy,
terrible.
you're at
That's
a 5. Okay.
Yeah, that's clearly a 5. I got you.
Joe, you're at 6, and Mike, you are
10.
shitting. You are shitting your pants. You're at a 10.
Yeah, well, I don't appreciate you putting my biggest loser up for debate right now, Doug. That was kind of an asshole move to do. You specifically asked you not to do that.
Great play.
You gave me the list of names, and that's who I picked.
Good job,
And
Doug.
I said, out of
Good
this
job,
list,
Doug.
don't pick the players that anybody else has. We discussed this.
Doug, you did
But
great.
anyway.
All right.
Did great.
All right, so Tyler Higbee, he was my biggest loser of the week, so I guess I'll just discuss that now at the same time.
Do it now. Just get it all out.
Tyler Higbee had the second most snaps of all tight ends in the league last year. This past week, in a game that Matthew Stafford threw 55 times for 307 yards, and he still ended up as the tight end 35 on the week. It's just he's not an option right now. It's Puka and it's Atwell, and that's not going to get any better when Cooper Kupp gets back. So yeah, I don't think he's a viable option. He's supposed to be, Mr. Consistent. If you're the Darren Waller, the George Kittle owner, and you can have this reliable guy to put in when they get hurt, but he's not reliable, so he's useless to me.
All right. Let me defend my boy here. One, I don't know if you can be a 10 on a backup, right? I don't think anybody here drafted Higbee as their starter unless you completely punt a tight end. 2, I think the game plan calls for him to stay in and block more because he has 5 foot, nothing, 100-pound Tutu Atwell and the rookie Puka out there blocking. Cooper Kupp is arguably the best run blocking receiver in the game. They bring him down in the line, crackbacks, not that those are allowed anymore, but those like a little illegal pick blocks. I think that when Higbee's there with Cooper Kupp, and they use Kupp kind of to misdirect defenses for those little play action, rollout, whatever, that's when Tyler Higbee's value actually goes up. So I'm disagreeing with everything you said.
You can't disagree with facts. He was the tight end 35. You can't disagree with that,
that's
Andy.
good. Or the panic meter going forward. We're not living in the past, Mike. All right.
We're judging from the past.
I agree. Probably nobody really drafted him as a tight end 1, but
Correct.
I also don't think he's going to be doing too much this year if Kupp is healthy and Puka's out there and Tutu's out there. All right, so the next guy I had on the list, I think Andy has as one as his
nice.
one of his guys.
Nice.
So I'm not going to mention that one. Let's go. Let's go to we're not mentioning. No, we're not mentioning. So let's go to Trevor Lawrence. Where you guys at on him?
I made it pretty this time, I think.
Going to 3.
Can you see that?
All right,
Vinci
How
so
the
I
hell do I
I
make
went
this thing?
I went 3. Andy went
So I
2.
can't see. Is that a one?
Mike
So
went 2
one. So one.
and
I
1.
don't know what's up with hell.
Okay, so none of us are really too worried about Trevor Lawrence. Then it's early in the year. We all expected more out of him, especially this past week. That was supposed to be game of the week, and that was not the game of the week.
Yeah, Chris
And if
Jones
you
back
watch
though
that-
completely changes that defense. You can't. I didn't think it was going to be as high scoring as people originally thought. But I mean, I didn't think Trevor Lawrence would play that bad. But Chris Jones is just a game changer, man.
He's a beast. He's probably the best defensive lineman in the league right now.
And there was some plays in that game. If you watched it, I think Calvin Ridley had 2 close touchdowns where he just couldn't get the feed in, and Zay Jones had one too. So
Zay
I mean,
Jones.
that's not gonna that's not gonna happen every single week. You can count on him to bounce back.
All right, so we're all in agreement on that. Let's go to the next guy. One of Rossi's boys, AJ Brown. Where we all at on AJ Brown?
There we go.
Okay.
Ooh, come on,
No,
Andy.
I'm just kidding.
All right. All right. So I got a 2.
A
Mike,
0
you got
on
a
that.
1. Joe, you got a 3. And Andy, where you at?
Yeah.
Andy's at a 0. All right. So none of us are too concerned with this either. Andy, why don't you discuss, since you were at a 0? You literally are not panicked whatsoever about this, man.
I am not. When it comes to top tier wide receivers, top tier offenses with top tier quarterbacks, I don't get worried. So just gonna stay at a
The
nice
only reason
0.
why I'm even a 1 is because Devonta Smith looks so good. And how much of that is going to take away. But AJ Brown's still going to get his. I think that little feud that they had, it's just going to light a fire, and they're going to come back to what we're used to seeing out of them.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Devonta Smith, he might end up being the number 1 guy here. He might just be progressing to that point because he is a stud.
You're a route runner.
Yeah.
You're a route runner.
A speedster.
Well, he's good.
But AJ Brown, yeah, he's too good to not get his. All right. Isaiah Pacheco. Where are we at with Isaiah?
I mean, this is tough. I guess.
A 4, Joe, and Doug's a 7.
Yeah.
I'm a 7.
And that's 2 7s.
Andy's a 7.
How are you a 0?
Joe's a 4. Mike's a 0. I got to go to you, Mike, because I don't know how you are a 0. So go ahead.
I mean, I know.
First of all, if he was drafted as, a running back 1 or even a running back 2, I'd be a little more worried. But
okay, so hold on. So you're using Andy's argument on Higbee.
I said
you
for
on
Higbee.
this. Okay.
The only reason why Higbee was drafted is because he's consistent. If you don't do that, then I don't want you on my team. You're useless. So that's why it's the highest meter. But Isaiah Pacheco was drafted because he was supposed to get the carries on a high potent offense. And he's still getting the carries, and he looked good. I think he was in the game 70% of the time, and he had 12 carries for 70 yards. So he's doing the job. He just didn't get into the end zone this week, and he hasn't yet. So I think once the Chiefs pick up it, but they scored 20 and then 15. Once they pick it up, Pacheco will fall in the end zone, and everybody will be fine.
Yeah, 17 this past week, but they were on the 2-yard line kneeling. So
Yeah, but they haven't played a good defense.
yeah,
but they haven't had their full offense either. I mean, you can't expect the Chiefs to keep this up, right? Like, none of us are going to sit here and say this is the Chiefs' offense.
No, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as
scares
good.
me.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't
it'll
think
be
the
nearly
offensive
as good.
line is as good as we thought it was going to be, and that scares me for their running game.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Next guy, Justin Fields.
Fantasy related though. Fantasy related.
But yeah, because let me tell you, it cost me quite a bit of money yesterday.
It's fantasy related.
Cost me quite a bit of money.
I'm gonna go.
All he had to do was not throw a fucking pick six.
Okay, so you guys are a little panicked.
6.
So I went with a 2. Andy, you got a 5. Mike 6. Joe 7. Joe, talk about your 7.
Well, my 7 is because I believed in DJ Moore having a big year and being able to change those numbers. But watching yesterday's game, Justin Fields is awful. He cannot throw the ball. Andy was right with how bad of a thrower he is.
He chooses
And
not to throw the ball. He
it's
holds
just
it for 20 seconds.
Yeah, he
he
holds on
holds
to it
it
for way too long.
too long. And he takes too many sacks for a guy who's that athletic. Like if you're indecisive, then just go run.
Yeah, he just
yeah.
can't make a decision quick. That's what it comes down to. He can't pass quick and he can't run quick.
And when
He can't make that decision. Go ahead,
when he
Andy.
does make the decision, the ball's nowhere where it's supposed to be.
Right.
I'm a 5 because this is kind of what I expected, so I don't really know how to put a panic meter up there. But fantasy related, like he's gonna still get the rushing yards, he's gonna get rushing touchdowns. So I don't know how you could be too much higher than a 5 on him. And a sidebar, I watched the Bills preseason game, and they got this rookie quarterback who looked really, really good. And so I got a feeling if Fields gets dinged up on one of these runs, he might not get the job back, especially depending on where we are in the season. But that's just me speculating.
That's
Hot
interesting.
take.
That's a
You
very
heard it
hot
here
take.
first, folks.
Yeah, hot take.
I wish I could remember that. Poor
Doesn't know
kid's
the guy's name, but he's
Yeah.
liking him.
White kid,
Yeah.
tattoos. That's all I got for you. He played at
White
like
kid with
4 of them, I
tattoos.
think. I think they said he played at 4 of them, so he's not coming from a big school.
Yeah, I think we all agree that Justin Fields is not a passing quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback in the least. I think he's a good football player. And I think he's a good fantasy player because of how much he runs. His floor is going to be pretty high floor, like he's never going to, as long as he runs as much as he does, but he had over 1,000 yards last year, he's not going to finish outside that like seventh quarterback. So I think as far as
stop trying to
goes,
prove that you can throw the ball because you can't. Just do what you're good at, man. Just run the ball. Look at your reads. If it's not there, use your legs. That's why they drafted you, right? That's what you need to do.
I think they probably drafted him hoping that he could develop, but
all he had to do was not throw a pick six yesterday. That's it.
Know, Joe.
There we go.
We heard.
All right,
That's all
guys.
I heard for 6 hours afterwards.
All right, Breece Hall. Where are we at Breece Hall?
My list just keeps going. Let me see where we at.
Okay.
7.
All right.
How
So
the hell did you go 7?
So we're all over the board on this one. So I went with a 5. Andy, what'd you have?
Oh, that's a pick. I had a 3.
You had a 3. Rossi 7. G Money, you went 0?
0.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. How are you not concerned at all about this man?
One game, Breece Hall. One game. I am chalking it up. I mean, it's Zach Wilson still the quarterback. They still have to be run first. He's too talented not to get his carries. I think they're going to realize what they did yesterday. I mean, they fell behind. They had to try to come back. I'm not nervous about it at all. I think he's going to get plenty of carries.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good week 1. He looked explosive week 1. But it worries me that they only thought that they needed to use him for 4 carries yesterday. And Zach Wilson being his quarterback, I think actually ends up hurting him more than it helps him, Joe. Like,
Correct.
They might try to run more, but those lanes are not going to be as open as they were with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. But Rossi, would you have a 7?
Yeah, I mean, he just, obviously he's coming back from the ACL, and he had that long run where we all saw him run out of gas during that. So, and then they come back and they give him 4 carries, and I just don't get it with Dalvin Cook there. They seem to be splitting the time, but when Breece was on the field, he wasn't getting much work. So, are they worried about that knee? Should I be worried about that knee? And even if the knee isn't, like you said, Aaron Rodgers going down doesn't help Breece Hall. Like now, defenses are going to be focusing on this run game, and it's just going to hurt his value. So I don't know. I'm concerned, but I think if you're the owner, you have to be concerned a little bit.
I mean, this is the same offense he played in last year before he got hurt, and he was fine. I don't really see why his value would change too much. We saw he still has it from week 1. This is the same Bills team that just held Josh Jacobs to -2 yards. Granted, they played like shit week 1, but it's still a viable defense. I don't know. I just don't understand why we keep panicking on Breece Hall, but
All right. So I had a bonus guy in there. We were going to do 10, and then I took one of Mike's guys, and then I didn't take one of Andy's guys because I didn't want to make that mistake twice. But I had a bonus one in there because I think Rossi was trying to get away with not talking about this guy this week. And I want to talk about Kyle Pitts. Where you guys at on him?
This is tough. This is tough. Let's see here.
I'm gonna go right there. I'm going
Oh
3.
my God.
Joe,
All
no
right,
one will just
so-
tell us your number, Joe.
It's an 8.
Careful
It's an
with
8.
this stuff.
My number's
Okay.
an 8.
All right. So Joe went 8. I went 6. Andy, what'd you go?
7.
7. And Mike 3. All right. So Joe, why are you so panicked about
I mean,
Kyle
I
Pitts?
wasn't high on Kyle Pitts going into the season, so if it was me myself, I would only be like a 4 panic. But for owners who drafted him where his projected spot was, I'd be an 8 because he's doing exactly what I thought he was going to do. He's not getting as many targets as he should be getting. He's not being utilized in the right way in this offense. And honestly, everybody else looks better than him on this offense. I was a doubter in Bijan Robinson, and I'll admit, Bijan Robinson looks amazing.
Yeah, he's
He's
And
like the
I
best
still
player in the
think,
league.
yeah, I mean, week 1, Tyler Algier still got his numbers. Drake London got back in the offense this week. And a guy I mentioned before the season started, Matt Collins, showed he can go up and get a ball last week. So I think they're too athletic and too talented. And Kyle Pitts is a disappointment.
Yeah, there might be too many guys there with Bijan there now. They're throwing it to Bijan a lot. They're trying to throw it to Drake now. Pitts only had 8 targets in the last 2 games, and this isn't a team that likes to throw the ball a lot. This, like we've discussed numerous times, this is a team that just wants to run the ball. So where are those targets coming from? Mike, why aren't you concerned?
Well, I mean, I'm a little concerned. I had a 3. It's not like I'm a 0 there, but I don't know. I just they're 2-0. The Falcons are 2-0, right? And does anybody see them being a winning team this year? I still think that
In
they
that
could
division,
turn around. I mean, maybe they win the division, but I wouldn't be surprised if 8 and 9 won the division. So, I mean, if they ended the season 6 and 11 or whatever, just anyway, they're 2-0, and they haven't had to pass the ball much. So I think that once the game script flips, you're going to see Kyle Pitts turn around. And if you drafted Kyle Pitts, you knew it was going to be boom or bust. So you're not concerned, because if that boom game comes in the next few weeks, then you're right where you should be.
Yeah, I don't think
how
they're
they were
necessarily.
down most of that game yesterday. They had to throw the ball at the end, and he was not getting targets at the end of the game.
He had 5 targets, right? Yeah, 5 targets.
Not
So,
many at
it's
the
not-
end.
Not saying when he gets them, it's just 5 targets. I'll take that from a tight end.
Yeah, I think we just expected more from him, and we just keep on expecting it year after year. Except for Andy. Andy didn't expect it. And Joe didn't expect it. All right. Let's end our panic meter. That was good. Good job, boys. Let's go to our champs and chumps of the week. Mike, you want to start this one? Who's your champ?
Well, yeah, my champ, and this is gonna be my chump in the same one, because it's kind of a twofer, but it's DeAndre Swift is my champ of the week. The not that he did anything wrong, but Gainwell was out, and DeAndre Swift got the opportunity, and he made the most of it. I mean, 28 carries for 175, even had 3 catches, didn't do much with it, but still 3 catches. And he just passed the eyeball test. He looked strong, elusive, patient. He just looked quick. Everything about him looked good. And I don't know who these people were that ever doubted him. I certainly wasn't one of them. But DeAndre Swift, I think he's here to stay.
Well, in your defense, Mike.
You took Penny. We like Swift. You like Penny.
In your
Well,
defense,
you're not getting away with that.
the Eagles. It doesn't seem like the Eagles who knew any of this was going to be the case. You know?
Oh, don't
Yeah.
defend him.
Now I think he still
Don't.
has the opportunity to be because I think he was a week 2 winner. He still has the opportunity to come out and prove that he's a week-to-week winner. But I think Gainwell still gets some carries. It might still be a 50-50 split, and it's going to be whoever looks like the better back is going to win that job. So he has more work to do, is what I'm saying.
I think Gainwell still should get some carries. He still should get some
Yeah.
workload because, like you said, he didn't do anything to lose it. He just didn't play, and Swift
Exactly.
looked like a monster. So we already did your chump, right? We already took your chump.
Yeah, it was Tyler Higbee.
Okay,
We already talked about it.
Andy, who's your who's your champ and chump of the week?
I got a little twofer here. I got the Rams backfield. So champ's going to be Karen Williams, Mike Thomas with a beautiful sideline catch. Nope, they're calling him out of bounds. And the chump is going to be Cam Akers. That situation's just fucking wild. And then my second chump's going to be Josh Kelly, as I already mentioned. And T. Higgins is a winner. Good to see him back out there doing what he does, catching touchdowns, being a beast. Love to see it. Whole Bengals offense is going to be fine.
I think so too. Just give it a couple weeks, Joe. All right, Joe, who's your champ and chump?
That's a catch. Sorry.
So for champs, I liked two guys, and I was having a hard time picking one. I really like Kirk Cousins. Is just going to be a quick mention because he went off and had 4 touchdowns this week, and I think that running game is non-existent and could keep it going. But Brian Robinson, man, Brian Robinson showed what he can do this week. The job is his. He had almost 30 points. He had 87 on the ground, 2 touchdowns and 2 catches for 40 yards, so he can catch the ball too. But he's outrushed Gibson 37-5 in 2 games. So the job is his. Don't worry about a split backfield in Washington. Brian Robinson is your guy. My loser is my chump is DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre has not done what I thought he was going to do. He had 4 from 40 this week. I just expected to see either more targets or a couple touchdowns by now. I thought he would be a bigger red zone threat than he's been so far. And Treylon Burks looked good yesterday. So
Yeah, not using them like we thought they were going to use them when they paid him.
Yeah,
What
kind
are
of
we
like Andy
missing?
not using his headset right now.
It's gone already.
Yeah, there was something.
It's gone.
Everything's
Something we were
in.
missing.
Everything is said.
I saw you two giggling off to the side. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
Yeah.
I just loved watching him try every method. Does this combo work? Nope. How about the right one?
Nope.
How about just the left one?
All right, my champ and chumps. My champ was Hawkinson. My champ and chumps, by the way, are both on the same team. I went with Hawkinson. He's been the tight end 1 through the first 2 weeks. He with 17 targets. He had 8 this past week, 7 catches for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, we talked about him earlier in the fantasy podcast, and I think he had 86 receptions last year, I think was one of our fantasy trivia things. So
yeah, it's 80 something.
Yeah, the dude, he just gets targets. He's going to get the workload. That's a passing team. And that kind of leads me to the next one. It's not a rushing team. I went with Madison for my chump, and I apologize to everyone out there that drafted Madison.
Who took your advice, you want to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
This past week, he did 8 carries for 28 yards, 3.5 average, 3 catches for 11. He had a fumble, and he really should have had 2 fumbles. One of them was called back, right? So he has not looked right. I'm hoping that workload. I mean, nobody's really looked right behind him either, though. So I still don't think he has much competition unless they go get like a Kareem Hunt or something, right? Which I don't know if there's any news about Kareem Hunt at all.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers.
Yeah, Cam Akers now.
He's another guy I liked. And then if they're both on the same team, I'm going to hate him. So
I'm starting to see why you've been a loser so far, Doug.
yes. Yeah. Yep. So anyways, all right. Those are my guys. Let's jump to the bye. Go ahead.
In Madison's defense, he did go against probably the best rush defense, if not top 3 rush defense in the NFL. Right. And in a game where
in the history of the game,
probably,
Eagles, is that what you're saying?
probably ever,
Yeah.
might even be ever.
Yeah.
But in a game where the Eagles secondary was banged up, so the Vikings plan was to pass the ball, and you saw that coming in. So I think Madison, he didn't look good, but he still has an opportunity, and he just has to make the most of it this coming week.
I mean, it seemed like every single run play, no matter who was running the ball, they were getting blown up in the backfield every single time. So that O-line sucked. And like you said, that D-line is historically good. All right. So let's get to our buy or sells. Or not buy or sells, buy low, sell high. Buy or sells. So, Andy, you want to start this one?
Sure.
All right. Who's your buy low?
My buy low is Josh Jacobs. He's had 2 tough weeks. Offensive lines look like trash. Whole offense outside of Devontae Adams has kind of looked iffy. Jacoby had a good week 1, but got a little head injury going. But he's too talented on an offense that doesn't really have a lot else going for him. And I think they're going to find a way to work him in. He was RB3 last year, I think. I think he'll be fine. He's going to find a way. Buy
Rushing
low.
leader too, by the way.
Try to get yourself. I mean, at worst, he's going to be, in my opinion, a RB2. Like,
Or back in RB1, yeah. Agreed. So who's your sell high?
Oh, we're going both of them. My bad. Zoning out. Give me a second.
No, that's all right. Let's go. Mike, who's your buy low? We'll go around the horn.
My buy low, Jerry Jeudy is my buy low. I think obviously he's just coming back from injury, so he was semi-limited this past week, right? So he had 5 targets. Granted, he didn't do anything with those targets. I think he had 25 yards or something like that. But I just believe in his talent. I think he's gonna keep getting better. And the Broncos are gonna need to pass the ball to do something this year. So I'm buying Jerry Jeudy and his talent.
You believe in that offense at all? I mean, Russell Wilson he just doesn't look the same since he's been there. And I know last year he kind of gets a little pass, but he just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying this offense more than I did last year, and he still
Yeah.
had 100 targets last year. So I'm buying Jerry Jeudy more than anything.
Yeah.
And
Him, not Russell.
Russell Wilson blinks like a lizard. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but his eye would come up. It's the strangest thing. I'm pretty sure he's a wizard. I'll go.
I wish I never knew that, Andy. That's all I'm going to watch now.
That's all I'm going to be looking for now, man.
Oh,
Mike,
Mike,
Wow.
what'd you think of that Broncos game? Well, Russell Wilson blinks like a lizard. Andy's right.
He's an alien.
Yes.
All right, Joe. Who's your buy low of the week?
Treylon Burks. So also believe in the talent and the size of this kid. I do think Derrick Henry's running the ball pretty well right now, so they got to worry about defenses have to worry about the rush first. But he still hasn't played the Texans or the Colts. Those are 2 bad pass defenses, as we saw them score points against each other this week. So I still like the value you can get with Treylon Burks right now. He's only had 7 targets so far, 5 catches for 94 yards in 2 games, which is nothing. So you could try to make a move and buy him now.
Joe, what are you
Okay.
giving up? What are you giving up for Burks?
Oh man, good question. Didn't think
Throw
about
some names
what,
at him. Throw some names at him, Andy. You got any names?
Oh, God, I got nothing. I'm just wondering so if you're buying, what are you buying him as? A wide receiver? Are you putting him as a flex? Is he a flex option? Is he wide receiver 4 or 5? Is he coming off the bench?
He's on the bench. You can't play him right now.
See, I'm flexing him.
You're flexing him?
I would
Okay.
though. I would again. He plays Indy in week 5. They play Indy. Next week, tough matchup against Cleveland because their defense looks good right now. But after that, I'm flexing him.
Would you trade DeAndre for him?
I would trade DeAndre for him. DeAndre didn't look good at me. Look good at all to me. But
Didn't look
yeah,
good at me.
I would take that shot.
Okay. Andy, let's do it now. Let's do the sell high.
Did you do yours? Do you not
Yeah,
have
you
it?
didn't do your buy low.
Oh, I'm sorry. My buy low. What kind of host am I? What my buy low is?
It's about the people.
No, just say, man. It's all about you guys, not me. My
I'm
buy
trying to
low
help people
is.
by not talking about it.
That's right. My buy low is Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, Joe, that's good. I like it.
That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
That was
Yep.
good.
I'm just gonna stop talking and let everyone else do the talking. Don't listen. to
Jameer
any of
Gibbs.
my
I love
advice.
it. Good one. Don't get Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah, he's gonna get hurt next week. But with Demont hurt, I like Gibbs. I like Gibbs going forward. They're just gonna use him more and more now, and he catches the ball a ton. Go for him now. If there's any managers in your league that are panicking, they're idiots, So just try it. You're probably not gonna get him, but try it. It's worth a try. All right, Andy. Now it's your turn. Sell high.
Selling Tyler Algier. I don't think his workload's really gonna ever be completely dissolved. But as we talked about this earlier, watching Bijan run it's just fun. It's fun to watch a running back for the first time in a while. You see the run where it looked like he just was button mashing that juke. He just kept doing the right foot plant, come back across, and he just ate up 3 Packers. That was beautiful to watch. So sell him if you can. If you can get something for him, because it's gonna just slowly decline.
Yeah, he's at his peak right now. He's not going to get better as the season goes on. I agree with that, unless Bijan goes down. He's probably the best backup you can have in the league.
They're
Go ahead,
2-0. So when they're down, that's going to be more Bijan time. Like Algier is not going to be in the game as much when they're down big. So this is a great time to sell Algier.
All right, who are you selling, Mike?
I'm selling Raheem Mostert. I mean, he just looked great last night, Doug, didn't he? He looked explosive. He had a few big plays, but he had a great game. He looks explosive. He played 73% of the snaps, had 18 carries last night. It's a great game, right? No, it's not for Mostert because he's 31 years old and he can't do that all season.
Very
so
injury
he can't
prone.
carry that workload. Injury prone and just wear and tear. They could bring somebody else in like a JT. I mean, they look really good right now, so they might continue to try to build this roster. I'm selling high on him while he's still getting the carries, and he's a name that people want to buy.
All right, Joe, who's yours?
So mine is Mike Evans. Mike Evans has gone off in his 2 games. It's more of the quarterback thing. I don't think Baker can keep this up. And what you should be able to get for Mike Evans right now, who's probably one of the top receivers in fantasy, I don't think he's going to stay a top 5 receiver all season long. And they're going to play teams that have better defenses. They haven't played too hard of a defense yet. There's going to be tougher matchups coming his way. So I would sell Mike Evans while he's a top 5 wide receiver.
And you'd sell him trying to get an elite running back, an elite receiver back, anything?
Depends on the need of what the team. I would prey on a team that's weak at wide receiver and needs a number 1 wide receiver.
Joe's just preying on teams. All right.
Yeah, if you drafted Evans, he's probably wide receiver, 3 or 4 on your team, right? So
correct.
If you need a running back, it's probably not a terrible idea. I like Baker a little bit more than you do, but yeah, I don't think a top 5.
What just happened? I don't know what happened.
Oh,
Joe's
shit.
freaking out. Nobody else is watching anything?
I'm on the Carolina game. He must be watching the other game.
What happened?
Pick 6.
Jesus
Pick 6.
Christ, Joe.
Wow.
I thought somebody just shot up your house.
I wish I didn't see that. I wish I didn't see a reaction.
It was the most exciting looking seizure I've ever seen.
I was trying to stay on for the waiver stuff, and then I was going to get off. I didn't expect to get that excited.
Yeah, Joe, why don't you just get off, man? I think you just did get off, actually.
Yeah, why don't you go in the other room? Come back when you're done. All right. So my sell high, you done, Joe?
Yeah.
My sell high is Puka. Kind of for similar reasons that Joe was saying though with Mike Evans. I think he's at his ceiling right now. I mean, the kid's getting an amazing amount of targets. We're at 35 through 2 weeks, 20 last week, 15 receptions last week. Once Cup's back though, he's going to take a back seat there. So I would try to sell him right now and get something like a Ridley or something like that in return. Someone who's what is this, Mike?
What? No, I just don't think anybody's trading.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike here.
Yeah.
It's not a Puka for Ridley straight up. Package.
Okay. All right.
Nobody would do that.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Not what I meant. But no, Puka package. Go get someone like a Ridley. Go get someone who knows.
Puka package.
A Puka package.
That's great. I want to buy one.
Let's do it. All right. Let's jump to your waivers now, because I don't want Andy just to lose it again.
That wasn't Andy.
I'm reserved.
All right.
Reserved. Who wants to go? Me? I'll go. All right.
Yeah. Andy, go ahead.
My first waiver pickup is going to be Roshan Johnson. As we talked about, Fields can't throw the ball. They can't throw the ball. Khalil Herbert has looked a little bit worse than expected. I still think he's good, but Roshan's looked better than expected. So there's no reason to not waste a little bit of money or a ticket. Go pick him up. See if he can't get the starting job.
How much you spending of your fab on that percentage wise?
I don't know, 10%, 12%, somewhere in there.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, he's got a workload there now. I think with Deontay Foreman was inactive.
Yeah, yeah. I think the targets in week 1 was surprising. And then it just seems like things are kind of falling in his favor for him to eventually get
Is
this
he your
job.
number 1 running back pickup of the week?
Yes, he is.
All right. Mike.
Want me to go?
No, go
Yeah,
ahead,
take
Mike.
them both out.
Who we going?
I'm going right to you.
Go right to you.
Okay. I mean, Matt Breida to me, I think it's an obvious one, right? With Saquon missing at least 3 weeks. I think they diagnosed it not a high ankle sprain, just a regular sprain. So it won't have that lingering issue that a high ankle sprain usually has. But still, 3 weeks is 3 weeks. And if you're in need of a running back, especially if you were the Saquon owner, and then you're going to pick up Matt Breida. And if you're the Saquon owner and you really need a running back, then I'm going 20% of my fab. If you're not the Saquon and you're just going to sit on your bench, or even, if he flex spot, then maybe 10 to 15%, but that's about it.
How confident are you that he's going to be the guy that's a 3-down back there? Or you think it's going to be split between him and Brightwell? I think they got another
As confident as anybody else. We haven't seen anybody but Saquon on the field. So I'm going Breida because I'm being told he's the backup. So that's about as confident as I am. And I'm only spending money on it because he might be the backup. And he probably is the backup.
Okay. I just saw Steelers place Deontay Johnson on injured reserve. So that's another 4 weeks that he's going to be out.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. All right, Joe. Who's one of your guys?
So, with Rossi talking about Giants and Saquon being out, that's why I like one of the Giants receivers this week. I was debating between Hodgins and Hyatt, and I'm going to go Jalen Hyatt because I think you can get him for less fab dollars. And I think he's got the highest ceiling out of any of those 3 Giants players. He looked the most explosive on that team when they had to get something going. And I think they should start game planning to get him the ball more after those 2 catches yesterday.
Okay. How much you spending on him?
Not a ton. Like I said, I don't think he hasn't given us a ton yet. He had those 2 big catches, so I think you can get him for cheap. I think you can probably get him like a 4 or 5 spot and not spend that much on him. Because I don't think a lot of people are going to reach for him, but I think he's got a boomer bust potential and could have a very high ceiling if they need to get something going.
Okay. All right. So my guy is Juwan Johnson. I don't know how he's doing tonight. Has anybody has there been a sighting of him tonight? Nothing.
I have no idea. I can look it up for you. Just keep talking.
All right. So basically, I was surprised. The reason I'm going with him is because I was surprised that he was only 37% owned still, and he was a top 12 tight end last year. With a
Out
better
for the
quarterback
year.
this year. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
I said out for the year.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
He doesn't have a catch though. No catches so far.
Okay,
so.
well, it's still early. Still early, right? Kind of early.
Fourth quarter. No, second quarter.
Second quarter. Kind of early. Yeah, again, he was a top 12 guy last year. So if you need some depth at tight end, you got the bye weeks coming up soon. Go get Juwan Johnson if he's still on your waivers. Andy, who's your second guy?
Second guy is Tutu Atwell. One, because we are the same size, and I love to see anybody my size in the NFL. It's fantastic. And 2, because he's 25% owned, which is ridiculous. He's pretty much going to fall off the map probably when Cooper Kupp comes back, and then they're going to slide Puka out, right? And Tutu's probably going to be the guy forgotten. But you still get at least 2 weeks.
When you go for that Puka package.
The Puka package.
Real quick.
2 weeks of it.
Do the Rams have the greatest names of their wide receiver core in history? Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Tutu Atwell. Like those 3 names together is fantastic.
I should just say. I think that's why McVay takes him. He knows he can just develop anybody.
That's how they draft.
Well, they don't pick until the fucking 4th round every year. So
yeah,
that too.
They're gonna get that Kool-Aid McKinley guy or whatever's coming out pretty soon.
He's a corner, but yeah.
Still a cool name.
It's a name. It's about the name. I don't know if you said, yeah, I think he had like 8 and 9 targets the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know his target total, but yeah.
But he's part of the game plan, and he's a speedster.
Sure.
All right, Mike, who's your second guy?
My second guy is Josh Reynolds. He's doing kind of exactly what I thought Jamison Williams was going to do when he comes back after the 6-game suspension. But I mean, if Josh Reynolds keep doing what he's doing, he might just take this role. So, he's only 13% rostered. To get him on my team for at least 4 weeks on that offense right now that might be forced into passing the ball even more with Montgomery out, I'm going to go 15 to 20%. Yeah,
I like that a lot. Go ahead, Andy. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just forgot to tell you how much I was going to spend on Tutu, but yeah, probably around the 15% as well, maybe 12. Depends how. If you're 0-2, I'm spending more. You know, if you're 2-0, I'm not spending as much because he's only a few weeks.
Yeah, it's all about your desperation at this time. All right, Joe. Do we have your attention here?
Yeah, you got me.
Okay.
So my second one would be Jaden Reed. Had 8 targets this week. Had a couple touchdowns. Jordan Love looked like he that was his like Randall Cobb type of guy for that offense. So I could see him picking up a lot more targets and a lot more snaps.
All right, that's enough. So how much you spending on him?
Again, I think I went with guys that I don't think you're going to have to spend a lot on. I think, anywhere in that 5 to 8 range you could spend on a guy like this. You're probably going to get him. It's high risk, high reward, boomer bust. And those are the ones I like to go for.
Yeah, these are deep sleepers that could really help you out if they do hit.
If you're not in love with any of the top guys and we're given options for, the boomer bust, I think that's a way to like gradually spend your fab, but all you need is one to hit and it's worth it. So yeah. I like that.
All right. So I'm going to throw out a defense just to mention a defense. Kansas City's defense has looked great. So I'm going to go with them. The next 2 matchups they have is Chicago and the Jets. We were talking about Justin Fields, how he just gets sacked all the time. So I love them in that matchup. And then the Jets. It's the Jets offense. So love him in that matchup as well with Zach Wilson. He'll make a mistake or two. Another thing, we didn't mention quarterbacks to kind of go with your Tutu Atwell. If you're streaming a quarterback, I like Stafford. Who are they playing this week? I actually don't know who they're playing this week, so maybe I don't like their streaming.
I thought I looked at it and they had a tough match. I'm not gonna lie, Doug. But
either way, they're gonna pass the ball a lot.
They got the Bengals.
So Bengals. Yeah. So the Bengals will be themselves again. They're gonna have to pass the ball. They're gonna have to pass the ball a lot to win the game. And Cam Akers will be inactive or traded, so they're not going to be running with him. Karen Williams, he caught the ball, right? I think he caught a touchdown.
He actually had 10 targets this week, Mike.
I saw the. That's right.
Wow.
I forgot that I was in week 1, not week 2. I was trying
to. Picked up the wrong script. He picked up the wrong week script.
Yeah, week 2, he said Pitts was getting a touchdown.
That's week 3.
That's next week. I'm a week behind, Joe. Watch. A couple more names I just want to.
Go ahead.
A couple more names just to bring up, like Tank Dell, right? You look good.
Yep.
And
very good.
I think he's worthy of a pickup.
So with Tank Dell, though, let's talk Tank Dell real quick. He's really like the third guy there, though, right?
Yeah, they all had an amount of targets. I think Nico had 10. I think him and Robert Woods.
Robert Woods has actually been much better than people give him credit for so far this year.
A lot of upside.
I think he's on the field the most too.
Robert Woods.
That defense stinks though. So you're gonna have a lot of games like yesterday where they're gonna be throwing a ton. So you could, if Stroud played like he did yesterday, they could all get numbers.
True.
Yeah. All right. Who else you want to mention?
Well, I was gonna say Kadarius Toney. He came out and went 5 for 5. Didn't drop a ball. So I think he's someone to think about, right? If they dropped him. And then your boy Hunter Henry.
Hey man, he's looked really good so far, and obviously Mac, that's his go-to guy.
Hey.
So
You took out your quarterback one?
what are you talking
Oh,
about?
I was saying stream of the week for week 3. It's a free pickup. Don't spend money on it. But if you're desperate, I don't hate Kenny Pickett in week 3. The Raiders defense their secondary looks terrible. And I think Kenny Pickett can come out and get a few touchdowns and maybe even get some rushing yards on it. So I don't know. I just don't hate it.
Yeah, please
Don't
don't spend
force
money
it,
on it though.
but I don't hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't spend money on it. Just put the waiver claim out there. All right, let's let Joe watch his game.
I'll see you
All
guys.
right.
I'm gonna
All
get
right,
at it.
all right, boys.
All right.
So for Andy, Mike, Joe, I'm Doug. We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Later, guys.